You know what? On Valentine's, you usually want to do just a little bit of something extra.
It's Valentine weekend, and we're spending our Valentine weekend in the kitchen. And guess what? We're preparing a Valentine turkey.
I'm going to prepare a little bit of breakfast for the big guy. And you know, today is that special day. This Valentine is going to be so different because we're typically going in the evening sitting at a restaurant. But that's not going to happen in 2021. So we are going to prepare dinner together. Now I've got a little prep work that I need to do, and I'm going to take you through that prep work. You know, as always, the recipes are either going to be posted here, and sometimes they're posted in the video, as well as down below, and sometimes even on the community page. So you will want to make sure that you take a look, and it's something that's easy to do because let's face it, this is Valentine's Day. And while you're preparing something special for your honey, you want to make it fun for you as well. So I am preparing a dish that I can put it all together, put it into the oven, and let it simmer and prepare itself. Now I'm going to take you along as I'm working in the kitchen because you know I am always multitasking. So I've got my skillet on. I'm getting ready to get it turned on, get the fire going, and get it nice and hot. And you know, you always want a hot skillet, and especially if you're going to add something into it that's going to be a little greasy. And so we're going to make sure our skillet is nice and hot first, because that would help to keep it non-stick. We are putting together just a simple breakfast, but also in the oven, the big guy's been wanting some biscuits. Well, let's face it, this is Valentine's Day, so Mama ain't fixing biscuits from scratch today because I am preparing a very nice dinner. And so I'm going to have some canned biscuits today, and we're going to be happy with those. So I'm putting the biscuits in the pan. Now let me get this a little sprayed up. Using my coconut oil. Spray in the pan. And then I'm going to put the biscuits in. Now I'm debating on whether I'm going to put together a dessert. And that is still out for question. But should I do it, you know, you'll be right there with me, helping me get it done. So please excuse my back for just a moment, but we've got to get these in the pan. I'm going to set my oven on, I think it's at 400. And get that nice and hot. And when that's hot, then we will put those into the oven. I'm going to give them one more spray. Okay, there we go. That part's done. Now my pan is good and hot. He had bought some Gualti sausage, so I'm going to slice that up, and we're going to fix some sausage. He's going to have a hearty breakfast because there's not going to be anything else. Now, while we're cooking today, let me ask you this question. How many of you have had your vaccine? And you know that vaccine is going to be pretty important because, let's face it, we want to be able to get back into a more normal situation. I had mine yesterday, and that was my first shot. I was did not have any problems whatsoever. So I am just thankful, first of all, that we have the shots, have the vaccines, and second of all, thankful that I didn't have a reaction. Because some people have. They've had a little bit of reaction, and that happens. I'm fixing a big guy's breakfast. This is the kind of breakfast he likes, where he has a little bit of variety. And I usually try to prepare all of the sausage, because once you open that pack of sausage, it's just kind of like you might as well go ahead and prepare it. That way you can put it in the refrigerator, and you have sausage already prepared for later in the week. So that's what I'm doing. I got up this morning and really wiped down the kitchen very well, because it just needed a little something, and I try to do that every day. So my hands are nice and clean, the sausage is going, and what I'm doing is really trying to get myself ready to do a full meal on video. So let's see if we can work that out, work kinks out together, and we'll be in the kitchen. We can spend time. Now, have you, let me give those just a little flip, and they're really not quite ready, but we'll flip anyway. Okay, we're waiting for our stove to come up to temperature, and it takes a few minutes for that. Now, for dinner, we are going to be preparing, like I said, a one-pot meal. And that one-pot meal is going to be with turkey. I had a half a turkey left over from Christmas, and I'm going to cut that turkey into pieces just like a chicken. And the reason for that is because it's going to cook faster, which is what we want it to do. And it's going to prepare itself pretty much hands off, which is what I want it to do. Now, I'm going to toast up the skin, get the skin nice and toasty and nice and crisp. I'm going to turn them over and leave the crispy side up. And once I've done that, then I'm going to start to add in the other ingredients and allow that to simmer. Now I'm going to use some of the fat that we get this morning. A little bit of that is going to be drizzled in the bottom of the pan, because that's going to help to crisp up that turkey skin. And once we get all that done, we're going to do all of that. We can put it in the oven. Now, find your meat thermometers. If you don't know where they are, find your meat thermometers, because you're going to want to make sure that your turkey is done. The last thing you want is a turkey that is not well prepared. It's kind of like, you don't want that bacteria. Make sure you cook the boy well. So we're going to get that going, and we're going to have a delicious dinner. But like I said, everything's going to be in that one pot. I want it to be nice. I want it to be delicious. And at the same time, it's going to save Mama a little bit of time too. So we're going to get all of this going. So he'll have a breakfast. And actually today is his day to go and take his shot. So I'm going to have to stop in between my preps to take him over, let him get his shot, because I'm not going in, and then we can come back, he can do whatever, and I get to play in the kitchen. Now, we've been talking about maximizing our kitchen. In that process of what to do in 2021 is that you want to make sure that the tools that you have in the kitchen are the best and those that make you happy, that they function well. And if you have tools that need replacing, then you can certainly do that. And I'm going to say to you that don't feel bad. If you have a skillet that's just not working out the way you'd like for it to work, then donate it. Donate it to someone, because there's always someone who would just love to have your hand-me-downs. And they're not so much hand-me-down in a bad way. This is hand-me-down in a good way, because that's a skillet they didn't have to buy. And sometimes people are looking for goodies that they can find, little jewels, what I call it. When you go into Goodwill or you go in Habitat for Humanity, those are good places, or some of your little places that you like to go in, then those are places where you can find those jewels that you might be able to have and use in your kitchen. Because I am real good at always going around looking for cast iron skillets. And they're not easy to find. And because people are like me, they hold on to those cast irons because they recognize the value in them. And so I am always looking for a new cast iron skillet. And I would prefer to have one that has been used, because then it's probably well seasoned. But sometimes you may get one that hasn't been treated as well as it could have been treated. And if that's the case, then you're going to have to clean them up and get it ready for cooking. So what I'm doing right now is that I'm just kind of, I've started to add in the bacon. My sausage is just about finished and just about done. And so I'm just adding in pieces of bacon. So as one cooks down, I'm adding in one of another. So I'm putting the bacon in, letting it get in there, because the flavor of the drippings that's going to come out of this pan is going to be delicious. So let's get to that. So we have to focus a little bit. And because we don't want anything to burn, we don't want anything to stick, we want everything to be just right. All right, we got a pan of bacon going, and I've taken the sausage out, and it's sitting on some paper towel so that it can drain. And just get whatever leftover grease there may be, get that excess out. Now, do you like crispy bacon? Or do you like your bacon to be a little bit chewy? I'd like to know. There's quite a variety with that. I noticed that as we go in, if we go to a buffet, and certainly we have not been to a buffet of late, but most of the time you find a variety of bacon. You're going to find some that's very crispy, and you're going to find that bacon that's in there that is going to be soft. And I am just not a soft bacon person. That's not to say because it's soft that it's not cooked. It's just that they didn't cook it until it was crispy fried. So we're going to let this get nice and crispy. I'm going to keep an eye on it so that crispy does not mean burned. Crispy just means that it will be a little crunchy when it gets to the lips. So we're flipping our bacon back and forth. So I am so glad that you're with me this morning in the kitchen. This is fun. Preparing bacon for the big guy. have about 3 more slices. And this is going to be enough bacon to take care of us for a week plus. So some of this I may use in some green beans or something like that. Some I may add to a salad. And because I do like to crunch a little bacon sometimes on top of a salad with some blue cheese dressing. Oh, delicious. So we're just letting this crisp up in our pan. Okay, so we're going to take our biscuits, we're going to get them into a 400-degree oven, and I'll keep an eye on them. Now, all the bacon is out of the package, and we're just letting this finish up and get nice and crispy in this skillet. You know, there's nothing better than breakfast. And you know, you think of breakfast foods most of the time is having them at breakfast time. But sometimes we do breakfast for dinner. And that's if we haven't had a nice big egg, bacon, sausage type of breakfast in a while. And we don't do this very often. We only do it probably maybe once a month. And that's just because this is rather decadent. And so these are things that, you know, you have to look at it in a healthy way. It's not the problem of having it. It's about how often you have it. So this is something that it's a treat to have the bacon, the sausage, and all those good things, because I'm not sure you want those every day, but certainly it's good to have. So I am still crisping. I've got the biscuits in the oven, and just letting everything finish up. Let's see how we're doing. Oh yeah, they're coming along. Now I've got several things planned for the upcoming few weeks, because we've still got some weeks in February. And I don't know about you, but can you believe these crazy storms that have been coming across the nation? And we have kind of been on the receiving end of some of those. I say that because they've traveled all the way across the country. They are still intense. And by the time they get to the East Coast, they're still packing a punch. So we are just, you know, dealing with those and trying to take it all in stride. And the good thing is that we're right here in our homes anyway because of COVID. So we'll just enjoy.
And I'm adding in the eggs. Breakfast is just about finished. You know, we've had a good time this morning messing around here in the kitchen. And you know what? The big guy's afoot, so things have gotten a little noisy. I think he's gotten hungry, and that's the reason why he's standing around. So as I'm finishing up those biscuits and finishing up the last of the bacon, we'll get the eggs in the pan. And you know what? Let's think about Valentine's Day. What are you doing for Valentine's? Are you planning a special dinner? Is your honey preparing something for you so that you don't have to cook? Or are you ordering and having it delivered? You know, we have had, what's the name of the restaurant? We've had Longhorn. They will deliver. We've had Cheesecake Factory. They'll also deliver. And we've had simple things like Five Guys delivered here to the house. And so on those days when you really don't want to have to cook, you can certainly get around it. So let's look at this plate. We got our biscuit, we've got our goodies, and I'm ready to hand this over to the big guy. Well, let's talk a little turkey. I'm in the process of cutting this turkey into pieces, and we're cutting it into the pieces just like we would a chicken. If we had a whole chicken and I'm taking it apart, I can tell you this, a whole chicken is a lot easier to take apart than a turkey. The joints are very strong. So you see I'm having to use scissors even to help with the cutting of that turkey. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay the pieces there, and then I'm going to put them into a clean Ziploc bag. So I'm going in and I'm using a serrated knife because that's helping the process a bit, and then taking the scissors to finish up the job. So we're just about there. I'm taking the leg off and finishing that part up. So now we've got our thigh, and the breast, of course, has bones and a little bit of bristle on the back. So I am going to take those scissors and I'm going to cut the bones off. And then I'm going to cut the breast in half because it's just too much meat for any one person to eat. So I'm going to take my time and do that without having to make a hospital run because I've cut myself. So we just take our time. I know it looks like I'm moving quickly, but I just sped the video up to save you a little bit of time. Now you could certainly save the bones, put them in your stock bag so that when you make stock, you can add all of these goodies to it and let them impart their flavor. I did not do that today. Now, this turkey, because this is Saturday, we're going to put it into its bag. It's already been marinated in apple cider with salt. And so I've allowed that to already take place. I thought I'd go ahead and get it cut up and cleaned up today so that when tomorrow comes, it would just be a matter of getting it into the pan and ready to go. So here's our bag, and it's finished. Well, let's all give our loved one a hug today because it is officially Sunday, Valentine's Day. And certainly we want to show as much love as possible. Now, I've waited until afternoon, and we're going to get that turkey out. We're going to get it prepared and ready for the pan. And within about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, our turkey is going to be ready. So since I'm planning on serving around 5, we'll probably put that turkey into the oven about 2 o'clock maybe. And I think that'll be more than enough time. And in fact, I'll probably be able to pull it out and we'll eat just a minute or two early. Let's go over the 1, 2, 3s of what we're doing with our Valentine turkey. Now, I am doing this turkey very different from what I would do for Thanksgiving or even for Christmas, because then I prepare the turkey, marinate it, put it in the oven, and let it go low and slow until it reads done. But today, I'm taking a little, what I call a shortcut, because I've taken my turkey, it's already marinated with the apple juice and the salt, and I have cut it into individual pieces and placed it into a bag and in the refrigerator. Now, the day that you're ready to actually prepare it, you're going to dry off the turkey pieces. You're going to dip them in a mixture of baking powder. You can either use baking powder, you can use cornstarch, either of those, and spices. And I use salt, pepper, onion and garlic powders, some cayenne, some paprika, and just some general seasonings. And then I'm going to melt 1 stick of butter in the baking pan. I'm going to put that into the oven and let it start to sizzle, not brown, just sizzle the butter. And then I'm going to place the turkey skin side down for at least an hour or until the skin is nice and golden and crispy. Then I'm going to flip that turkey over and start to add the other ingredients. Now, these are the things I'm going to put in mine. You may certainly decide to add or delete some items. I'm going to put in 2 cans of cannelli beans, and today I'm using some cannelli beans that are already pre-seasoned, and that's going to add additional flavor to our sauce. I'm also adding on top of this some cognac And we're going to put in a large red onion that we've cut into eighths. And red onions are pretty strong, so I would say you do not want more than one large red onion, regardless of how many pieces of turkey you use. I'm also adding in a pint of sliced baby bella mushrooms and a cup of red wine that we're going to add to it. Now, this is going to cook long enough that the alcohol will cook out, and what will be left will just be the flavor. You could certainly add 2 cups of apple juice. You could add a cup of chicken stock and apple juice, or you could just do chicken stock. But those choices are up to you. But I wanted to kick mine up very special today because it's just 2 adults. All right, I'm showing you the pan. The turkey has gone about an hour, and I flipped them over so that you could see them. I use the baking soda because it's supposed to work with the skin of the turkey and make it very crispy. And I can tell you now, if I had it to do over, I wouldn't use the baking powder. I would just use the cornstarch. I think it would make a much better crusty skin, crispy skin. And as you can see, the skin browned, but not as pretty as what I would like for it to be. Now, this is where the magic is going to start to work. And we are going to add in our ingredients. We have allowed the turkey to start for about an hour to be in the oven, so it won't take long at this point. So you can kind of gauge your clock and know what you want. So I've added in a pint of sliced mushrooms. I'm also going to put in, I'm just taking my spatula and kind of moving things around so that when I put the liquids in, everything's going to be down in the liquids. And remember, we've got a really good sauce that's down in the bottom. It's got butter. It has the juices from the turkey. And of course, it's seasonings. Now, I'm taking those red onions and I'm spreading them about through the pan. You know, red onions, they are so strong. So I'm just spreading those out so that the onion flavor will be all throughout the sauce. And they're going to look pretty in the pan anyway. But I've turned the turkey over and left the skin up so that we can work with it. Now, I've got the Hennessy and I'm going to use my can. I've added in the beans and I'm going to pour about half a can, and this is a 12-ounce can, and I'm going to pour about half of that over the beans and the vegetables and just kind of throw it throughout the pan. That's one. And then I'll do likewise with the wine. We're going to put our baking pan back into the oven for approximately another hour. And I'm going to say anywhere from 30 to, well, let's even say 40 more minutes, because I think an hour might be just a tad bit too long. But once you start to see those liquids really bubbling and you start to see some extra browning on your turkey, you can check your turkey and see if it's done. Now, what I did was just take my fork and see if I could easily pull the turkey apart. I started in the thigh because I wanted close to those bones. I wanted the bones to come out easily. I took the leg, the bone of the leg, and kind of twisted it. And once it was able to turn easily, I knew my turkey was.
Happy Valentine to each of you.
I have placed the rice on the plate, and we are going to add our turkey and our vegetables on top. And this plate is going to be absolutely beautiful, and the food is going to be delicious. You saw that tablescape, and I'm telling you, the big guy and I are going to enjoy our evening. I have so enjoyed being in the kitchen with you today, and I hope that you have done likewise. I hope that you have plans for your sweeties and that you do something special. You know, it's a wonderful time, and our days and our year is going to be what we make it. So let's maximize not just our kitchen, but let's maximize our life. And let's do things big in 2021. Spring is just around the corner, and I've got plans for you. So I look forward to seeing you very soon here in the kitchen of Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme, where we work hard. We love God and family, and we know without a doubt that everything else is just gravy. Blessings.